If you're looking for a story with moving themes such as self expression, friendship, animal treatment, and the morality we can learn from one another, the one and only Ivan is the perfect choice. I just finished this book, and it was such a powerful story presented in quite an interesting fashion. It's not often that we see a story like this told from the perspective of the oppressed. Using Ivan as the main character was a smart move by author Catherine Applegate. This is the same woman who brought us Animorphs, a series that has sparked the joy of reading in many young animal lovers. As we begin the story, we meet Ivan, a gorilla living in captivity. One of the first moments in the story that struck me was when Ivan began explaining his domain, which was mostly glass walls with a jungle scene painted on one of the walls. Ivan described it as a waterfall without flowers, or excuse me, a waterfall without water, and flowers without scent, and trees without roots. Even before reading the events that will occur throughout the story, this is a haunting description of the unnatural life imposed on this gorilla. We see throughout the story that Ivan is artistic, and after making a new friend in 10-year-old Julia, the daughter of a mall janitor, he begins to draw using the crayons and paper that she slipped into his enclosure. Again, it was painful to read his description of how his drawing seemed pale and timid compared to Julia's. Even though this injustice is explicit when reading his description, Ivan's optimism and humor quickly relieve the guilt we might be feeling as the reader. Perhaps the most devastating moment in the story is Ivan's realization that life exists outside of his entrapment when watching TV one night. Not only does he witness a lush forest with moving grass and rustling trees, he also sees a gorilla. He begins to wonder if there are more gorillas like him out in the world, or if it's just the two of them, trapped in their own separate boxes. Ivan mentions multiple companions throughout the story, and most have their own past of mistreatment by humans. Stella the elephant used to wear shackles or bracelets, as she calls them, and Bob the dog was thrown out of a vehicle on the highway and barely survived before making the Big Top Mall his new home. These individual stories are extremely short but incredibly powerful. And I think Applegate did an incredible job of quickly showing inhumane acts done to animals, which will have a lasting effect on the reader, while also keeping the tempo and light tone of the story intact. After multiple events take place throughout the story, including the death of Stella, Ivan and another elephant, Ruby, are relocated to a zoo. Ivan is shown videos of gorillas living together, and then one day Maya pulls the barrier and he sees those same gorillas just steps away. He says, I see me, lots of me. After living his entire life in isolation, this is one of the most uplifting moments in the story. While again, a stark reminder that years have been stolen from what would have been Ivan's natural existence. A few days later, when Ivan attempts to join the other gorillas, he is astounded by the outside. He is immersed in the beauty of the sky, grass, trees, ants, birds, dirt, clouds, flowers, rock, and rain. I felt like I was brought to tears every few pages of this book, but certainly closer to the end, I couldn't stop. Ivan has been at the zoo worried about his friend Ruby and how she might be adjusting to her new life at the zoo. Near the end of the story, we see him speaking directly to Stella, telling her that he has seen Ruby and that she is safe, just like he promised. While he cannot be with Ruby, he is selflessly happy that she has found her new family. I would highly recommend this book to both children and adults. It has a lasting impact that readers will carry with them throughout their lives.